Jet cars, there's nothing quite like them in all the world of motorsports. And to show us a little bit of a closer look at a jet funny car and what makes it tick is one of the top names in the sport, Bob Van Sciver. He not only is a track operator owning Atco Raceway, but is the driver of the liquid Lustre jet funny car.
Well, they're basically 1,400-pound cars with GE J85 engines in them that travel a quarter mile in 5 seconds. It speeds up to 280 miles an hour. They're completely thrust-driven, same as being like on a roller skate without a motor drive.
Now, Bobby, for the benefit of those viewers who may never get a close-up look at one of these jet funny cars, can you take us through the car?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Kenny. You'll see down here that we have the onboard batteries for our igniters that actually start the car while the power is being applied to the engine. Right behind that is our onboard fire extinguisher, 20 pounds of halon. And we have 4 disc brakes on each, each wheel has its own independent braking system. And here's the intake for the main intake for the jet engine, the GE J85 engine, where the air goes in.
And the screen is there to what?
The screen's there to keep debris out you may pick up going down the racetrack, if there is any debris out there. Over here is our 23-gallon capacity fuel tank, which we burn kerosene or Jet A. And then the main inlet of the engine runs back to the GE J85. Okay, we're in the cockpit of the car right now, and I'm holding an easy removable steering wheel in case you have to get out of the car in a hurry. And over here is the engine fuel control. Right alongside that is the master parachute release. This is our emergency parachute release. Over here is our engine oil pressure gauge. This is our engine EGT gauge and RPM gauge. This is the onboard igniters right here. And down here is our emergency onboard fire system. This is another emergency release that shuts the engine off in case of something happening. And the various other little buttons on the steering wheel here are for making the fire show on the starting line for the spectators more impressive. On makes a bigger fire, and of course off goes back to afterburner. And then when we're ready to leave the starting line, the engine control, the fuel will be all the way up like this. When we close this little switch right here, this closes our bleed doors, and we have full maximum power going through the engine. And then you just sit back and watch the Christmas tree and hold on.
Attracts the fans to Raceway Park for the jet cars, the fire, the smoke. It's like no other sound in motorsports. It's intense, it's louder than any band, it's more violent, you can feel it in your chest. Jet cars are the real deal. And now that they're racing, they're a lot of fun to watch too. Hanna, some of the great teams getting together, Dick Rosberg, everybody really tuning their jet cars up, and it's become a real fun class to enjoy.
Can't really compare it to any other thing that anybody else would experience. It's a real good kick in the pants, and it gets pretty warm out there, to tell you the truth. As you could tell, look how dirty and sweaty I am right now, but it's still a lot of fun. especially with the Jets nowadays, the one thing that you have to do is give them a quick tree. They make so much power now that they slide along the track. Even though there is a lot of rubber out there, when they start cranking up the motors, they actually slide with the brakes locked. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that they don't slide through the staging lights. If they do, what we have to do is cheat a little bit and stick our own feet in, just so that it's a fair race for the crowd. But you have to give them a real quick tree. You got to be right on the spot with those guys.
Are these cars getting more dangerous every year?
I think they're getting more safer. I remember way back when, 10, 15 years ago, where they were scary. They were real scary as far as something to drive. Now I think they're pretty much safe. NHRA has an excellent program of making sure that these fellows have the right cars, that they're checked in properly, and that it's a good, safe car for them. That's the best part right there. I think it's 100% safe.
Business office. This is the capsule that I ride in. It's all built out of 4130 chromoly steel. It's a very strong cage area. And this is a JT12 Pratt Whitney jet engine that powers the car. It's pure thrust power, develops about 6,000 horsepower, and it means speeds of over 280 miles an hour and a quarter mile. This is a 27-gallon fuel tank that supplies the fuel for the jet engine. It uses a lot of fuel, about 25-gallon every quarter-mile run. Our cars, these chassis are designed by my brother Phil and built by Pete Miner down in South Carolina. Extremely safe car. You're looking at the fire bottle there. It's got 11 pounds of halon gas that is all plumbed into the capsule there. When the body shuts, it puts all that fire extinguisher fluid right in the capsule with me. This body is made out of carbon fiber and Kevlar. It's very lightweight. The car weighs about 1,760 pounds, ready to race. Full of fuel, plus me in the car. Hi, I'm Roger Gustin. I've been racing jets now for over 20 years. This is our 35th year of racing, and once I got into the jet business, I really loved it. I got out of the nitro funny cars to drive jets, and I just don't think you can beat jets. They're good, fast, reliable race cars. Cost a lot to build them, but we don't have that never-ending breakage problem that you experience with the fuel cars. The afterburner more than doubles the power of the jet engine, but we use it also for a lot of show business back behind the starting line with all the fire show and the burner pops we do. And basically what we're doing is lighting the afterburner and shutting it off real quick. If we lit the afterburner, even a low RPM, we couldn't hold the car there. The brakes just wouldn't hold it with the afterburner lit. Here, once we move up into the staging beams and light both of the staging lights, you're ready to go. When that light blinks, I step on one button that's mounted in the floor of the car and release the brake, and that lights the afterburner, and you've got over a 3-to-1 ratio. The car weighs about 1,760 pounds, and it's making over 6,000 pounds of thrust. So you're ready to go. Driving a jet is very exciting. You've got about you can have up to about 4 Gs of pressure that's pushing you back in the seat. The instant you cross that finish line, you put these parachutes out. And the instant it deploys, it's about 5 Gs negative that's literally trying to pitch you out of the front of the car. We actually stretch these 3-inch wide, 10,000 pound per square inch belts when that parachute opens. You feel good that it's open, but it's a little bit hard on the body. Rosbers, and these guys are really tough. And the big performance advantage we had a few years ago is kind of gone. So we're building another new car that our brother Bill's working on right now. Bill, Jerry, Gannon, all the guys have just been busting themselves. Real proud of our cars and real proud of our team. And I love to race jet funny cars.
It was the first run on his car when he tried to run really fast. The car put a couple of cars on us in the starting line. He ran a 64, we ran a 73.
Well, from the tower we saw like a ball of fire and the car go off to the side. That's about it because there was a lot of smoke, so you couldn't see anything after that.
He was out about 2 cars and running really hard. We were running with him, sort of pulled him down a little bit down the other end. Shut off a little early. I went to pull the chute off, and out the side window I saw his car, and his car was up on an angle like this. Obviously was pulled off the ground by the jerk of the parachute and couldn't keep it on the track.
You've seen Roger Gustin set the track record, and unfortunately on the end of the run he experienced some kind of difficulty, and the car did a couple of turnovers and turns around and wound up in the swamp upside down in about 3 foot of water. Our first reaction is to get Roger out of the car and make sure he was okay. The car was totally submerged in about 3 foot of swamp water. It's a fear, a panic, you know. It's hard to hear one of your good friends sitting in the car gasping for air and bubbles coming out of the water. The guy was actually drowning, and there was 3 or 4 of us there, and we just the car was still hot, and we just went into a panic situation, and you get that strength that you get when you get scared, and you knew the man was drowning, and you had to get the car over. We got the car over. And then, you know, Roger started, you know, spitting up a little water, and eventually started getting a few gasps of air, and little by little started coming conscious, and he'd fade in and out of consciousness. And then by the time the helicopter got there to take him to the hospital, he was actually trying to say a few words, so we were very encouraged about that.
Let's see if you can make it happen right now. How's it feel to be a hero?
Well, I don't consider myself a hero. I don't think it was just my quick thinking. You know, it was the other two guys, the track employees, the safety crew was there. I might have had a little something to do with coordinating it, but it was a team effort to get Roger out of the car.
No, I don't want to. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Nice and easy. I got this end of the board. Okay, I got it. Nice and easy. Got him? We got him, we got him. Nice and easy. Take it easy. Take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. Move up a little.
Over the stretcher next to the end.
All right, Roger. Okay. No, he should wait. Just cooperate.
Evidently it was a new car, and evidently the body just came off. When the body came off, the car went out of control, and he went off into the swamp and hit a tree.
What did you see done? Come down the chute, come out left, and in the woods you went. Did he realize that he was a hero in this whole thing?
No, not till today when everybody come up to him and started, you know, saying how much they thought of him because they said you're a hero.
How do you feel about it now?
Same way as I always felt about him. He's always been my hero.
When we start the show, the engine's started by an auxiliary starter and a battery pack. The engine's brought up to about 10 to 12%. We turn the fuel on, it starts and it rolls over to about 40% or so, and then it's running on its own from 40 to 60%. It's idling at 60%. When it's in an idle position, you turn the afterburner on and off, and that gives the smoke, and then you ignite it, that gives you the fire. And then as you go to the starting line, you bring the engine up to about 90%, and you turn the afterburner on and off and ignite it at the same time in rapid succession, and that makes the engine pop. When the cars are running and the noise that you hear on the outside, inside the car, it's about 1/10 of what you hear on the outside, because most all the noise goes through the engine and is on the outside of the engine, on the tailpipe end. This is fun. This is racing now because the cars have gotten quicker and faster. Jet cars, as they're classified, is they're considered exhibition cars. The Pro Jet Association, we don't like to call them exhibition cars. We like to call them race cars. As far as being a competitive nature, yes, they are very competitive to each other. We do try to win each race we're at. I don't like to lose, and I don't think anybody else does. The afterburner is what gives these cars the most power. The engine thrust is important, but it's the afterburner that gives it the kick in the pants to make it run as fast as it does. If you don't respect these cars, they will jump up and bite you, and a lot of times it can be real serious. So we do take and look after the cars. The most dangerous thing about the Jet Funny car is after you've made a run, stopping it without crashing it. Usually When the chute comes out, they jerk the car real hard. You're subjected to about 8.5 or 9 Gs negative, and that's when it's the handful to drive. Driving down the track is not that bad, but stopping the car is the main concern.
Well, a real easy description is to say that this is an airplane on wheels. It's a fighter, the engine out of a T-38 trainer fighter, the same thing that the astronauts fly today. Runs 290 miles an hour and a quarter mile, and with a little bit of down engine angle, it keeps it from taking off, which is everybody's first question. How do you keep it on the ground? Confidence that you have running Englishtown is exceptional because of the width and the length of the track as well as the lighting. It's very professional here. Frankly, the rest of the tracks could learn a lot from Englishtown. It's always been a challenge for me, all the way from when I was in high school at my hot rod club, right up through today. I haven't gotten that out of my blood. It just, being in the driver's compartment of a car like this is like flying a fighter. It's the closest thing I had to have that opportunity. I really enjoy it. Well, having Auto Palace, and this year we have Pontiac join our program, has made all the difference in the world. And we've been in the business 28 years. This is our 3rd year with Auto Palace. We've been able to go from being a competitive car to the #1 car in the world, and it's really done everything for us. We're really happy and proud.
It's a real rush, you know. It's not quite as exciting as a takeoff in a nitro funny car, but once we start traveling about 80 feet out, they start making tremendous power. Yeah, they're experiencing somewhere around a 4 positive G-force going down the track and approximately a 9 G-force when the parachutes come out to stop them. When you're at a drag strip and the temperature's like 90 degrees outside, the temperature in the car reaches about 140 degrees, plus we're in our no-mech suits, which are 3 or 4 or 5 layers thick, and it's very restrictive when you have the belts on and you're strapped in there. It's very claustrophobic. And temperatures come out of that tailpipe at about 1,700 degrees. It's a great feeling when you're going 280 mile an hour and you're experiencing that G-force going down the track and you feel that chute blossom behind you and it slows you down to about 180 mile an hour where you can use the foot brake. Only one time I had a chute fail, and fortunately the emergency chute came right out and the car was safe.
I've been driving jet cars a long time. First of all, you probably got to be a little mentally deranged. That'd help a little bit, but normally it's just the desire to want to race. I had a nitro car before this, and we couldn't afford to run it anymore near the about 81, 82, so we decided to get a jet car, which was more feasible to run. When you're getting ready to race, the temperature of the engine running doesn't bother you at all. It's usually just the hot weather gets you sweaty from the fire suit because it's so heavy to protect you from the fire. Normally, I'm not even thinking about that. You don't even worry about that. You're just worrying about the race, making sure you leave on time, you do everything right. And basically, that's it. I don't even think about what it's like in the car. In fact, I couldn't even tell you right now if going down the track, if I breathe or not. I probably just hold my breath. At Englishtown, New Jersey, we set the track record and national record with the car at 567, 279 miles an hour, which was quite an accomplishment for us because we'd been working on this car for about a year now, trying to make it run better, and we finally got it to the performance level that we think was sufficient enough. As far as the car running again, running that good, I think it'll run that good or better tonight. There's really no trick to the car as far as it just being it's a lightweight car. We have everything set right as far as the afterburner goes. The afterburner on the car is all it is it sprays fuel into the tailpipe section of the engine. It's ignited by that fire that we put through the engine to make it ignite. The air that's not burned by the engine is like 40% of the air going through. So all you're doing is adding air, fuel, and more fire to give more thrust.
This thing that binds all jet drivers together, this unity, you know, we all stick together. Everybody helps everybody. Except when it comes to paying the bills at restaurants.